In this video we're going to talk about filtering the file types, bypassing the file type filters that are actually based on the type of the file and not just the name of that file. If these filters are implemented as blacklists and are not done properly, it's easy to bypass them. So one of the most common file type filtering is the MyMe types, which are used using the magic libraries that read some bytes of the file and then detect the file type. Can be done under the client side or the server side. The client side filtering is easy to bypass. You just use another application or modify the application yourself. But on the server side, it depends on the filter and the implementation details. It's a little bit harder to bypass them because they actually look at the content of that file and it's not as easy to bypass them. But there are still things that we can do. So let's see an example. So this example, you're familiar with this code. This is the same one that we saw before. It's slightly different. It's available in the course materials. It uploads the uploaded file and then it checks if the MyMe type is image/JPEG or it's image/PNG and the size is less than 100 kilobytes. And it's only in these conditions that it uploads the file. Otherwise, it says you can only accept JPEG or PNG images. So this is based on the content of the file. It's the MyMe type. And it also checks for the file size so that it can't clutter the server. And the rest of the code is pretty much the same as you saw before. Okay. The problem with this code is that the uploaded type is received from that $_files variable. But do we really know where that's coming from? Where is this type coming from? Who is setting that type? Let's run this code and see what's happening. And then figure out how an attacker can abuse it. So in that vulnerable web application in the security level medium, we're going to go into the file upload, take a look at the source code. You see it's pretty much like the one that we looked at. The trick here is that the uploaded type, we're not sure what it's coming from. And we want to test it and figure out what it's coming from. I would suspect that this is coming from the client. It might be set by the web server. In that case, it's pretty much secure, although it's still bypassable. But if it's coming from the client, then we're doomed, and it's super easy to just change it. So the file upload has a header for the content type, which is sent by the client when a file is uploaded. And the server usually uses that file to set the content file, and because it comes from the client, it's not trusted. But a lot of servers are lazy, so they don't implement the MyMe checking and MyMe detection system themselves, especially if the file is uploaded to a third-party server. So let's go and see exactly what's happening here. So what we want to do is that we want to upload an uploader ourselves so that we can upload other files with it. Okay, let's use Burp Suite, set the proxy to the port of Burp Suite, and then go into Burp Suite and turn on the intercept, and then browse something, the backdoor the PHP file, and then hit upload. And so it's intercepted by the Burp Suite. So you can see here in the request that's being sent by the client is there's a content type that's saying application/x.php. So let's just change that into images/JPEG, which is just the header. It's not really the MyMe type or the content of the file. So you see that it was just uploaded here. let's just grab this URL and try it here. Intercept off. Okay. All right. Yep. Let's send a command to it. Echo 1 to the file.txt, or let's just echo some PHP code into file.php. Right. Use quotations. Okay. All right. Now let's run file.php. And you can see that there's the PHP info. So you see that a MyMe type is not necessarily extracted from the file itself. It might be sent by the client, and it's very important to make sure that that's not the case. If you enable the high level in that vulnerable application here, it will use the GD library, which is something PHP has to check the file and make sure that it's an actual image. But because it's not installed and we're not using that, it's not the case here. So you see that it was a whitelist here, but the input was coming from the client. So generally anything that comes from $_files, $get, $post, and any other user input, we generally should not trust that. Here we could just get the MyMe using the MyMe get type or a similar function that exists in PHP and pass it the file name, and then it would generate the MyMe type itself instead of getting it from the client. So it's not hard, but you have to pay attention when you create these things to make them secure, and one single mistake is enough to make it vulnerable. So if the check is on the server, then we actually have to make a PHP file that passes as an actual PNG or JPEG file, which is also possible, but much more harder. And that's one of the challenges that we're going to see in the future.